Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask Me Anything. My name is Jennifer, and I am a recruitment consultant specializing in the education sector at Beaumont People. This week, I am joined by my colleagues Veronica and Adrianna, Beaumont People's marketing gurus. And we are here today to discuss some tips for graduates who are looking to step into the workforce. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me here today. I thought, given that you're recent graduates or soon to be graduates, it would be great to get your perspective of what stepping into the workforce was like for you and what tips we can offer graduates who are viewing this video here today. My first question goes to Veronica. What is your experience as a graduate stepping into the current workforce?
Thank you, Jen. So I started looking for work months before I expected to graduate. It's a good idea to have a look online ahead of time to make sure you don't miss any important cutoff dates. Also, during my time at university, I really made use of the employment services available. I went to Macquarie University, who had a great careers hub with consultations, seminars, and heaps of online resources. I highly recommend seeing what employment services your uni may have to offer to help you out with getting that first role. I was also applying for multiple roles and making sure each application was tailored to the job role. I often hear of people applying for hundreds of roles and not hearing back from any of them. And I think that's often the case when an applicant is sending the same resume to each employer. I'm sure, Jen, you can attest to how noticeable it is when a candidate hasn't tailored their application to the job description. Although I wasn't offered many of the roles I applied for, it definitely improved my skills each time. And by the end of it, I really knew what I was talking about. I actually ended up being headhunted on LinkedIn, and I think this really shows how important LinkedIn is, particularly if you're looking for a corporate job. Simply having an account filled out and active is enough to ensure your profile pops up in recruiters' searches. And that was my experience entering my first corporate job.
Thank you so much for sharing. And yes, I can attest to how noticeable it is of applicants not tailoring their CVs to the job descriptions or to the jobs that they're applying for. So thank you so much for sharing that information. My second question goes to Adrianna. What has been your experience with the onboarding process during a lockdown and pandemic and into your first corporate role? And what is your advice or tips that can be given to graduates?
So, both Veronica and I were hired during lockdown. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, it was tough. Being isolated in your room was one of the best parts about starting a new job is just meeting everyone in the office. But Beaumont People made me feel so welcome. I remember in my first week, Dean from all the Rivers team called me on Teams just randomly, just to check in, see how I was doing and seeing how I was settling in. And this just small action really helped settle the nerves. So just some quick tips for you. Just as Veronica said, really tailor your resume to the role. We hear it time and time again, but it's all it comes down to really finding the key words in the job description and putting them into your resume where relevant to you. Make sure your resume doesn't have any typos. Send it to someone else so they can read it. Make sure it reads well. Make sure there are no grammatical issues. Also, reach out to your services available to you at your university. I actually didn't offer that. Macquarie offered all those employment services, and I go to Macquarie Uni as well. So it's really important to do your own research and find it yourself. As we know, graduate roles are very competitive. So be prepared to do extra things as part of your recruitment process. As an example, we were tasked with writing a blog post. And by doing this, we were able to show our copywriting skills as well as put a unique spin and show our own voice in our writing. And so we could show our unique qualities that we could bring to the table for our role. Practice an interview with family members. Get them to ask you really different questions. And so you can really nail your personal narrative when the recruiter or the hiring manager fires some questions at you. Also, another tip, don't be afraid to ask the recruiter or the hiring manager to take a few seconds to think about the question that they've asked. I'm sure they will appreciate you just taking a second to really think about your answer before you blurt out the first thing that comes to your head. Give yourself words of affirmation before your interview, such as, I am successful, I am confident. Research actually shows this minimizes stress and anxiety. So I know personally I get really nervous with high pressure things like this. So just really taking that moment to center yourself back is really important. So over to you, Jen.
Great. Thank you so much, Adrianna. And look, words of affirmation can be used in all aspects of life, so it's always a good reminder, especially prior to interviews. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing those tips for graduates. Speaking of graduates, well, speaking of a not so recent graduate, I thought I might provide a little bit of an insight from the other side of the coin and provide some tips from the recruitment industry perspective. Often within recruitment, we hear our clients say, this is an entry-level position. But what that really translates into, we're looking for someone with 2 to 4 years experience. Before the pandemic and after the pandemic, our clients have really started to focus on more of the need to invest in their employees, starting at the grassroots level. Organizations across every industry are looking at training up their new staff and to create new and viable pathways for them to grow and develop their skills. I can really see that happening now more than ever across the education sector. Graduates, you have spent time in school being cultivated into the leaders of tomorrow. So make sure you take every opportunity you have given to you in school, whether that's volunteer experience, work experience, or some similar opportunities that might be available at your school. My advice to graduates, never take no as an answer and don't let it discourage you. And to our clients, if you're not already looking into internships, now is a great time to create your own workforce pipeline. And that is what Beaumont People are currently investing in. Veronica, can you give graduates a bit of an insight into what we are doing for people who are new to the workforce?
So we actually have our own graduate roles at Beaumont People. Our recruitment coordinator role is perfect for a student who is seeking a fast-paced, energetic corporate environment. This role is a great first step into the world of recruitment to set you up for career growth and development in the years to come. So if you're looking for a graduate role, that could be a perfect pathway for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And Adrianna?
Just to close, I'd just like to thank you for watching our Ask Me Anything. And if you need any extra support, please visit our website for any job seeker tips, including what questions to ask during your interview and how to prepare for an interview both in person and online. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn. We'd love to chat. And yeah, have a great day. Bye.